This is Don Hoder from the Southpointe Marcellus Shell Chamber of Commerce, and at our lunch today we have a guest from WPXI. Ray Carter is Vice President and General Manager. Is that correct?
It is.
Got the title right. Well, tell us how long you've been with WPXI.
11 years.
11 years.
Yep.
Well, and you've probably seen it all over that period of 11 years, huh?
Well, when I moved here, we were in an older, rickety, mold-ridden building above Allegheny General Hospital.
Okay.
And we built a spectacular 80,000 square foot all-digital plant in 2007. We just celebrated our 5th anniversary in it. We will, by the midpoint of this year, be the first LEED certified green television station in America.
And you're located up in the North Hills, right?
That's correct. Right.
Good, great. And tell us, how does the station fare? I'm going to put you on the spot. How's the ratings with the station?
Ratings are good.
Ratings are good?
We measure ourselves in terms of the key demographic, which is adults 25-54. That's the sweet spot for advertisers, and so that's what we push. Can you hear me? I can see some who are saying
Just
they can't hear.
get a little closer to the mic.
Can you hear me in the back?
Yeah.
All right. So we measure ourselves with that key demographic of adults 25 to 54. In the mornings, typically 4:30 in the morning, we're number 1. 5 a.m., we're number 1. At 6 a.m., we're number 2. I won't tell you who's number 1.
Okay, good.
The Today Show is right now number 1, even though nationally it may not be. And then
Matt Lauer
primetime,
is on
Matt
that
Lauer
show?
and Savannah Guthrie, correct. Primetime, NBC has had a rough road, but we just had a terrific launch to a new season with excellent programming, and we're coming back nicely. And then late news, we do real well. So
Good.
Competitively, it's, most people don't realize, you live in a city where it is the most competitive news environment of the top 25 markets in the United States. There are a lot that have 2 stations that are very close in terms of ratings. There is no market in the top 25 that has 3 stations that are separated by such small margins.
So
very
we're news watchers in Pittsburgh, is that what you're saying?
One of the highest news consuming markets in America.
My mother's 89, my dad's 92. They won't go to bed until they watch the news.
I'd love to hear that.
They wait for it.
And by the way, I can give your mother a TV that only gets 1 channel. I'd be happy to give that to her.
I think they're watching your channel already.
Oh, good. Then we'll give her a second one.
And also, let's talk about advertising, because it's usually perceived that it's very expensive to advertise on TV. So tell us a little about that. Can the average business owner afford to advertise, and what kind of results could he expect?
Yeah, I think that's one of the great misconceptions, is that it's not affordable. We have several platforms. We have WPXI.com, which gets 350,000 page views every single day. We have a television.
It's more than ours.
Yes, slightly. Wow. We have PCNC, a cable station that is carried in 800,000 homes throughout the region that does exceptionally well. Great audience, very affordable. And then we have WPXI Television. Of course, we have our mobile offerings too with WPXI Mobile. So you can find anything to fit just about any budget. And I'll give you an example. You talk about successes and does it work. We started with an advertiser about 18 months ago, Stahl Plumbing. Never been on television, didn't have much of an ad budget. And he started spending somewhere around $2,000 or $3,000 a month to get his message out. He had so much success that today that same client, 18 months later, spends $250,000 a year with us. His business has increased in the year and a half that he's been advertising with us somewhere between 40 and 50%. So you look at it and you say, how much do I want to bring in the door? And that's the relationship that we can.
So people listen and they respond.
They do.
Excellent.
Yeah, if you think about it, last year, $4 billion were spent nationwide on this campaign. $4 billion in political money. You have to ask yourself, why was
campaign? No, I'm just teasing.
Why was 70% of every political dollar spent on television? Not newspaper, radio, digital. 70% of every dollar went to television, and the simple reason is it works.
It works.
These are pretty smart people, and they wouldn't be doing it if it didn't work. If you want to get elected, It's what you do.
We have a whole generation now that doesn't like to read, too, because our website, we're getting so many hits on our videos. You may be watching this on our website now. YouTube and some of these others are just hammering it. People are watching video, they're watching TV. Even if they're not totally paying attention, it's on in the background. It's like their friend, huh?
Yeah, I watch my 17-year-old son, who watches television with a laptop on his lap and with a cell phone in his hand, texting, online, watching TV. Talk about multitasking. He's 17, and I said, you couldn't possibly be engaged in all three of those platforms at once.
Oh, he can.
He absolutely can. I don't know how their brains are wired differently than mine, but they can do it.
They're not one-track minded. Well, good. So if somebody wanted to contact you to talk about advertising opportunities, you have a table full of folks here. Is there anybody in particular they should be directed to? Darren
Moore is our local sales manager. Darren, raise your hand. We have with us Barb, Tim from sales, Annette from sales. We're very fortunate. We've got a wonderful sales staff. And like I said, this isn't about trying to bring you in and spend the most amount of money. It's trying to bring you in and spend the right amount of money for your needs.
Try it and see what happens. You've got me convinced, and I thought it was a lot more expensive than that.
No.
That sounds reasonable. And the results are what we're talking about.
Absolutely.
You get the great results. Let's talk a little about how did we link up for the trade show. This will be our 19th trade show for the Southpointe Chamber, which is now called the Southpointe Marcellus Shale Chamber, due to the expansion, the energy, oil, gas industry. But I guess we got a phone call from you, and you said, hey, we'd like to be a part of the trade show. So tell me a little about that.
Sure. I'll tell you two reasons. One is for us, this is a significant driver in terms of news. The shale industry, in terms of employment, in terms of impact, the infrastructure, there aren't many stories that we're going to cover that are more significant. So we've allocated an immense amount of our resources to covering this industry and everything that comes with it. And our creative services director, Karen Law, who's going to die that I would point her out, knows how significant this is for us. And you do a great job of getting your message out, whether it's the website or flyers or word of mouth. I don't know how many people you have employed, but your network and your message is out there. So Karen came to me and said, we need to be linked with Southpointe. They do a terrific job. We want to be with them, and we want to be involved in the trade show. Can I have your permission and your blessing?
Sure.
And if Karen comes to me and asks for it, usually it's already been vetted. So
it's already been done.
I've got the easiest job. I just nod my head yes.
Well, a lot of people say, well, Don, you had your chamber positioned at the right place at the right time. This chamber's been around for 19 years, so we've been waiting for this to happen. But the beauty of this, and Dale and I were just talking about this earlier, the whole, you see some negative about the shale industry, but in terms of the big picture, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, it's billions, not a billion, billions. It's that big, and the reason it's that big is because we will be energy independent. I understand in the year 2015, 2020, we're going to be selling energy to the folks that we've been buying it from by the barrel.
Don't you love it when the shoe is on the other foot?
Oh, it's very much on the other foot, and it's a great opportunity. Well, we'll see you at the show. Without giving away any of our secrets, do we have any specific plans as far as your exposure and coverage at the trade show?
Oh, yeah. We'll have multiple cameras there. We'll also have a top flight team. In fact, Jennifer Abney, our morning anchor. Jennifer, stand up and wave.
Jennifer.
Jennifer's with us today. Jennifer's co-anchor, Joe Arena, will be there. Our chief meteorologist, Stephen Cropper, will be there. He promises it'll be 75 and sunny.
Oh, good.
But Steve is a pathological liar, so...
That's weather, you know.
That's weather. It is the only job where you can get it right 50% of the time and stay employed.
Flip a coin.
It's a great gig. Great gig.
Works for me. Well, good. Is there anything you'd like to add in terms of what we have to look forward to with WPXI in Washington County in general?
I think coverage. We've had a commitment to this area for a number of years. We're going to stay committed, and as the region grows, we're going to commit the same amount of resources to mirror that growth. Very excited to be with you.
Sounds good. Well, I want to thank you, Ray Carter with WPXI. We want to thank you, viewers, for watching, tuning in our program. And this is Don Hoder from the Southpointe Marcellus Shale Chamber of Commerce. Thank you.